Hey guys, it is your girl Jade Ashley, and I am back with a new video of When the Beat Drops. And like always, you know, I'm here to give you my 5 hottest beats and music of this week, so you know you have to stay tuned for more. Okay guys, so let's dive into this week's beats. So it's been like maybe 2-3 weeks I haven't done a video. So, you know, I've been itching and I've been urging to talk about a couple of things that happened probably within this week and maybe last week as well. So my first beat of this week, I just want to talk about the new Netflix series, The Get Down. Now, I was a little hesitant about talking about this only because I didn't want to try to give it away because it's only been out for a week, and you know, I don't want to ruin it for somebody who may or may have not seen it or whatever the case may be, or you might still be in the middle of watching it. So I'm going to try to do my best with, you know, just giving my opinion about the show and what I think of it so far without trying to ruin it. So I probably will give like a little bit backstory if you haven't watched the show so far. So maybe if you haven't and you were like, you know, wondering whether or not you should, it's about hip-hop, you know. See, this is why I had to, you know, wear my hip-hop inspired type of, you know, t-shirt. But so yeah, the show kind of like it starts off in 1996, and there's a rapper on stage, and then through his raps he's actually telling a story, because obviously that's what rapping is a form of storytelling, as we all know. And it kind of backtracked to New York City, the Bronx, in 1977. So there's a slew of, you know, main characters, and it took me a minute to actually like kind of realize what I was watching. So I started watching the show, and then like I wanted my aunt to watch the show, and I wanted my aunt to watch the show because, you know, it's based in, you know, New York City, 1970s. So I was kind of asking her, so like, you know, was it really like this back in 70? Did you really wear that when you was a kid? With like, you know, I was just asking her because the movie just gave me like, you know, vintage vibes, I guess you can say. It made me want to watch Crooklyn. Like it's just something about that era of 70s that just made me excited to watch it. So just the feel of watching like New York City hip hop, or like just the start of like the hip hop culture in the 70s, was just giving me amazing vibes. So the main character, definitely, without a doubt, is a character by the name of Ezekiel. So, I mean, if y'all don't want to watch this part yet, I'll just say, you know, I'll put at the screen at what time you can skip so you can go to the next beat if y'all don't want to see this part. But the main character, Ezekiel, so when I finally like watched it over with my aunt, like the first few episodes, I was like, oh, okay, so the rapper that started it off was obviously had to be Ezekiel in 96, and he was telling his story about his start back in 77 or whatever the case may be. But I like Ezekiel's character. Definitely has a way with words, definitely an amazing poet. Then he, you know, turns into an amazing lyricist, rapper, and stuff like that. Shiloh, fantastic, who's played by the dude from Dope. I don't know, I don't remember his name, but if you've seen the movie Dope, the guy that played the main character in Dope, he plays Shiloh. He's also another main character here. Dizzy, played by Jaden Smith. Now, this is no shade to Jaden Smith whatsoever, but his character as Dizzy is not doing it for me. Like, I feel like after this, Jaden Smith no longer has to be on the show. Like, I don't understand his purpose. I guess his purpose of being on the show, Dizzy, he's like a spray painter. So my aunt, she was telling me, you know, spray painting definitely was a huge thing in, you know, 70s. And I think everybody knows that, especially like when you learn about the roots and stuff of hip hop. So you know that like music was an artistic form of expression. You know, spray painting, graffiti was also another form of expression. So, you know, Jaden's character, he played Dizzy, and Dizzy, you know, was the spray painter who did like the trains and the graffiti. So I mean, I guess that's his purpose. But as far as like the whole storylines and, you know, this the transition of the art of the characters that we've seen within the show, I wasn't here for Jaden Smith. He was not giving me New York. Like literally everybody in that damn show had a New York accent, and I was like, yes. And you know me, so at first I didn't think we had an accent, but you know, like when I went to school in North Carolina and stuff like that, we definitely have an accent. So Jaden Smith just was not doing it for me. Other than that, we have Mylene, she wants to be the disco singer. So definitely seeing her transition to making her dreams come true was something that I enjoyed watching, especially because she was so, you know, adamant about making her dreams dreams come true when it comes into music. So that was something that I could relate to. Rah was cool. If y'all saw the movie, what is it? The Inevitable of Mr. and Pete. I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore, but that was a movie. So the boy who played Pete, I think, yeah, Pete or something like that. Jennifer Hudson is in the movie. That's the boy who plays Rah, if y'all ever saw that movie. And then my favorite character is Boo Boo. Boo Boo, he's the youngest, but he's the most feisty. He don't take nothing from nobody. He ready to fight. Like, I just like him. Like, he just has so much swag to me. Boo Boo is definitely my favorite character without a doubt so far. And, you know, I just enjoyed watching it. Like, the storyline was just dope. So I'm on the 6th episode, and then and it's like part 2 coming in 2017. I'm like, hold the hell up, y'all really played. Because obviously, had I paid attention to like the chronological of the episodes, I would have known, but I really wasn't. Like, I just kind of like to watch Netflix and just let it flow. So I'm getting into it, and it's getting good. And then, you know, episode 6 ends, and that's the end of it. They like, yeah, you gotta wait till 17 for part 2. So I'm definitely excited for part 2 of the Get Down. It was definitely good. I've known about the show for a couple of months when they first announced it, like late last year. So, you know, I've been waiting, and my anticipation to watch it has been building up. But if you checked out the show, you can definitely comment below and let me know what were your thoughts, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, or, you know, maybe if you haven't watched it, maybe you will watch it now, because I definitely recommend it without a doubt. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our second beat of this week. In my second beat of this week, I have to talk about this whole talk on who's gonna perform for the halftime show of the 2017 Super Bowl, which is Super Bowl 51. So last week there were rumors going around that Adele was being eyed, like the NFL was targeting to get Adele to perform at the halftime show. You know, people had their opinions on whether or not she should or should not. Me personally, I love Adele, but you know, I wasn't here for it myself. And Adele wasn't here for it neither, because then at her concert in LA, she made the announcement and said, you know, I'm not doing the Super Bowl. They asked me, but I declined it. Then the NFL came out and said that, you know, they never even invited her to perform during the halftime show. But I don't know. Why would she lie? She said, I declined the offer, so I don't know why she would lie and say something about, like, do you know how many albums this lady sold in 1 week? She don't need to lie. But they said they didn't ask her, but whatever. The fact of the matter is, Adele, she will not be performing during the halftime show. So that kind of just, you know, fueled a lot of, you know, people who are into music about what artists they want to see performing during the halftime show. And I actually did a story about this earlier this week. So there were Kanye West fans that actually started this hashtag that said Kanye West for Super Bowl 51. Everyone is excited, and you know, they kind of just kept the hashtag growing on social media. You know, people were retweeting videos, they were retweeting photos of Kanye on stage, you know, showing that this guy goes all out when he does his shows. And this is why the NFL should consider having Kanye be the performer for the halftime show when it comes to 27 Super Bowl. Now look, training camp just ended, I think, for like most of like the NFL teams and stuff like that. They're about to get ready for preseason, because you know, the end of August, September's rolling around, and then we're in the NFL season. So we ain't even got 2 teams for the Super Bowl yet, but everybody, they up and, you know, rowdy about who they want to see for the halftime show. So I think Kanye would definitely be dope, especially because he's gotten a lot of attention and he's made a lot of noise with his latest album, The Life of Pablo, to where he didn't want to release it on iTunes, and there's no physical copies, and it's only on Tidal. And then he done released it, but then went back and made some changes. The music, like, it's just so much circulating around this last project from Kanye West. He definitely, I think, will be a good candidate to be a performer for the halftime show for next year's Super Bowl. But, you know, with Kanye, there comes a little, you know, so I just say, if Kanye is going to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, just no rants. Like, just put on a dope ass show, whether you perform your new tracks. You know, he has classic hits that everybody will lose their mind if he was to just perform. So I think Kanye was not a bad idea. But then after that, you know, a couple of Chris Brown fans, not a couple, excuse me, a lot of Chris Brown fans, they were like, well, I feel like Chris Brown should perform. Now we know Chris Brown is a performer himself. You know, he sings, he raps, he dances, he does everything. everything. So there's a petition for Chris Brown to perform at the halftime show. So I don't know what's going on, who's gonna get it. It'd be a damn shame if neither one of them get it and somebody else does. So I don't know. You guys leave a comment below. Let me know who you would like to see perform at Super Bowl 51 during the halftime show, which goes down next year, February. It'll be interesting to see who gets that slot. So yeah, moving on to my third beat of this week, I have to talk about Drake. So in my absence from when the beat drops, there was so much going on with Drake that I was like, ugh, I want to talk about. And obviously I didn't get to it. So just to backtrack real quick without trying to take too much of y'all time. So we all know that Drake is on his Summer 16 tour, going around the country. He's killing it. Everybody's loving it. Everyone is talking about it. So it wasn't until Drake came to New York about 2 weeks ago, and you know, he did like 4 or 5 nights at Madison Square Garden, and Ebro from Hot 97, he said he was at the show. No, actually Ebro wasn't at the show at MSG. Ebro had went over to Toronto and he was at OVO Fest, and he said while he was speaking he was with Drake at OVO Fest, he spoke to Drake. You know, him and Drake were just, you know, chopping it up, talking. You know, Ebro, sometimes he come back and he tells his conversations that he had with artists on air, and that's exactly what he did. And in his you know, discussion, he claimed, you know, allegedly him and Drake were talking about Joe Budden. Eminem came up. He said that he heard that Eminem was, you know, gonna come for him, because if you guys don't know, Eminem and Joe Budden are kind of like connected, because Joe Budden is a part of this rap group called Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse is signed to Eminem's label Aftermath. So, you know, he was like, you know, Eminem's coming. So Drake allegedly said, you know, if Eminem was to come for me, I got bars for him too. So that set the whole internet in a frenzy. Everybody was talking about if this was not something that was going to happen, you know, Eminem was to come for him, you know, whatever, whose side they're choosing, blah, 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 whatever. So then Drake gets to New York, he does his show, he calls out Hot 97. He said, I'm not coming up to that station if y'all don't fire Funk Flex. Him and Funk Flex been going at it for a minute now. Funk Flex goes on a radio station, you know, like 2-3 nights later after he does that, and he's calling him Sandalman, whatever, right? So let's fast forward to this week, because I'm too far into 2 weeks ago. But fast forward into this week, Drake, he was actually in Detroit, and he brought out Eminem on stage and calling him one of the greatest rappers. All of this to say that Drake pretty much seems unstoppable right now, no matter what. You can dish Drake, Drake gonna come out with the diss tracks. Everybody's just jumping on Drake's bandwagon. Dude, I think he had like the best selling album of 2016 so far. His views from the 6th album, like he's just like, he can't lose right about now, and I don't know what is the formula. Like, Drake, what is it? Bring it on to me so I can stop losing. But yeah, another thing that I thought was so dope was that actually when he was in Detroit, that same exact show where he brought out Eminem, he had Cash Doll. She opened up for him, and I follow her on Snapchat, so just to see her preparing to do it, what it was like when she was on stage, her reaction after the fact, I was just really hyped for her, because I know recently she also revealed that she was going through her DMs and Drake actually DM'd her happy birthday on her birthday, which was back in March, and she just seen it. So, you know, shout out to Cash Doll. You know, I was really excited and happy to see that she got that opportunity. But moving on from that, we're going to talk about PartyNextDoor. So PartyNextDoor, he just released a new project, and you know, he don't really do too much press, but you know, he has press here and there. So one of the publications that he actually spoke to was the New York Times, and you know, he just spoke about a few things. So when it comes to the song Work featuring Drake, which is a big hit, if you guys didn't know, PartyNextDoor wrote that, and he had revealed that the song was actually going to possibly go to Alicia Keys, which I could not see. I can't see Alicia Keys doing that song. But he said her label, speaking about Rihanna, her label didn't care for the Caribbean music at the time, adding that he most kept the song and considered giving it to Alicia Keys. In the end, however, Rihanna fought for it, and we all know, I don't think anybody else can do that song other than Rihanna. The whole Kalani situation that happened earlier this year, backstory real quick, you know, Kalani was dating Kyrie Irving from the Cavaliers. She had a past with P&D. P&D tweeted a photo saying, at the end of the day, I got the R&B chick in my bed, something like that. Kalani tried to commit suicide. That's how that happened after that situation. So when they asked him about that with her ending up in hospital, he said no one knows the details, and I don't care to defend myself. Now, following that situation, there was rumors that him and Kylie Jenner were dating because they were seen on each other's social media, but in the end she just ended up in the music video for Come and See Me, and it was tonguing down in the rain and all that other stuff. But he said, I'm grateful that really pretty girls like my music, and social media just happens to like really pretty girls. So, you know, yeah, I still love P&D. He just gives back this whole laid back type of vibe, type of feel. So I'm just here for him. So yeah. Okay, so moving on to my last beat of this week, I want to talk about Jhene Aiko's divorce really fast. So I believe it was sometime late last week, news broke that she was filing for divorce. Now we all been asking what's going on with Jhene Aiko's husband, because her and Big Sean they've been out here cuffing all over the place, whether they were doing shows, you know, promo, social media, because you know they have like their whole 2088 group. So they spent a lot of time together within this past few months, and also while they were apart, you know, they were still showing affection towards each other. So everybody was like, ain't this girl married? Where her husband at? So she finally filed for divorce from her husband, and a lot of people are kind of coming at her on Twitter like, why would you do that? And she eventually broke and cracked, and she just started spazzing. And in her tweet, and I think they're deleted now, she was basically saying that he was the one that jumped ship a long time ago. It wasn't me why the marriage didn't work out. I believe she mentioned something with, you know, domestic violence. And then her husband, Dr. Genius, he actually released a statement like 2-3 days ago, and he said, in light of the public threats, false allegations, and attempts to slander my name and character, I am compelled to speak up. Because my nature is peaceful, I've been silent out of respect for all involved and to maintain my privacy. However, I believe the truth must be heard, which is that I've never been violent or abusive towards any women in my life. Such behavior is abhorrent to me and far from how I conduct myself. Moving forward, I will continue to focus on my family, friends, and music, and soon enough the entire truth shall come to light. So I don't know. I know in the divorce, you know, Jhene Aiko mentioned irreconcilable differences, and she's also asking that he does not get any spousal support because, you know, she's a pretty big deal within this music industry. So I don't know, whatever the case may be, hopefully there can be a peaceful divorce between her and her husband. Everyone can go their separate ways and everything can just be cool. And if her and Big Sean are gonna be a couple for real, hopefully it's something that, you know, lasts them. Like, it's just not something that's just gonna make all of this noise and then just disappear. But other than that, those are my 5 hot beats of this week. Okay guys, so I want to thank you for tuning into this week's video, and of course, you know, I have to end every single video by reminding you guys to comment, like, subscribe, and share. It will greatly be appreciated. I have 2 quick notes to leave you guys with this week, and my first note of this week, I just have to let you guys know that Tory Lanez's debut album, I Told You, is now available. I have it. I was so excited for this project to come out, and I'm so excited to do an album review. But other than that, another album that just literally, I guess, I don't know what to call it. Frank Ocean, you know, we've been waiting for his new album, Boys Don't Cry, since literally last month. And while I was in the middle of recording this, I'm getting notifications that it's now streaming online. So I really don't know what's going on, but I need to hurry up and finish this so I can figure it out and come back to talk about it with you guys. But of course, you know, I can't end the video without giving you my song of the week. And my song of the week is going to have to go to my girl, 7th Streeter. She finally has new music, and it looks like she is about to gear up to release her debut album, which has been renamed Girl Interrupted. And the first single off of that album will be Probably featuring Gucci Mane. Not only did the single release, but she released the music video. So if you want to check out the music video in its entirety, you can head over to my blog at www.jade-ashley94.blogspot.com. Once again, I thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. So, bye! Hey guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to share and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.